Hello, people of YouTube. It's Deepak here, and welcome to the DCS news for the 5th of July, 2025. I hope you all enjoyed that, my most recent video, all about the A10C2 tank killer, warthog, whatever you want to call it, Mickey Mouse ears plane. That was all about the Lightning AT targeting pod and demonstrating the air-to-ground mode. I will do a video in the future about the air-to-air mode of that pod as well. But what we're going to do next time on this exciting show is we'll talk about how to use the Scorpion helmet-mounted queuing system. And of course, that integrates with the targeting pod quite a bit. So that will be the next exciting episode. Welcome to the stream, Tea Kettle Barbecue and Tog. I know you've both been talking about these crowns with numbers on them. Tech Gaming 45, Indie Navy, Colin Kelly, John Bloor, Tog again. Wonder when ED will give us an H34 or an H21. I don't really know what those are, but interesting. Welcome Pink Floyd, Even Gallos, Matt Jones. Whereabouts in Devon are you, John? Asks Matt. We'll get to that later. Venom is here. Hi, Deepak. Frederick, JP Gibbons, Fishy's Canal. Yes. And Tog is desperate for me to fire the main gun, because, of course, that's the most exciting part of the A10. Gotta go, Bert. So, yes, Matt Jones was just asking where John lives, because he wants to stalk him. I will bring in the one and only John Bloor, and currently the video is not displaying, but now it is. There we go, I fixed it.
There you go. I was a bit confused there. I was like, what? Is there something wrong on my end? Oh, no.
No, it's my end as always. Welcome, John. Welcome to the stream, sir.
Hello. Yes.
Oh,
It's almost as if I've just walked into the room. We've been talking for about 10 minutes.
Yes, exactly. Fancy meeting you here.
I know. Yeah, how did this happen?
So yeah, apparently people are really excited about helicopters as well.
It should be.
Helicopter. Yeah. I know you're a helicopter chap yourself.
More so. I think Blaine was behind me here. Blaine, Jane's longbow and gunship and all that kind of stuff. That was at an early age. That's what got me into all that stuff. But no, I do love a fast jet, especially a Harrier.
Well, I remember now. I need to look up the guy's name. One of the subject matter experts for Razbam, who I don't know if he was current or ex, but he was a U.S. Marine instructor on the Harrier. I was chatting away with him, and he was very happy that I was a big Harrier fanboy. And then I did an unforgivable thing. I said, oh, fast jets, not like the Harrier, but like, fast jets. And he was like, what do you mean the Harrier's not a fast jet? And I was like, well, it's not supersonic,
Yeah. Did you feel like Ray Liotta in Goodfellas with Joe Pesci? What do you mean it's not funny? What do you mean? Do I amuse you? Yeah.
Exactly.
I said it was a fast jet. Hey, Tony, chill out. Hey.
I don't mean nothing.
I don't mean nothing by it. He didn't mean nothing by it. Hey, he's a made man. Hey.
Oh my. Tea Kettle Barbecue just donated £20. Thank you very much, sir. That's extremely generous. Thank you.
Lovely, man.
And yeah, Tech Gaming 45 Gunship 2000 on the PC did it for me.
Yeah, that's what's behind me.
I know. I was thinking that you have that in your display. You should do the rest of the stream like that. So it's just like just like that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about how I was insulting US Marines, which is usually something you don't survive. So I should be careful with what I say. Lovely chap though, lovely chat, and he taught me a lot.
Well, if you've got some crayons, you can just chuck it towards them and see if they get distracted and peckish and just run away real quickly.
Smoke bomb. You can't just say smoke bomb. Anyway, thank you very much, Tea Kettle Barbecue. That's extremely kind. So yeah, we have some little bits and bobs of news this week. There's not a huge amount going on, but some bits and bobs. And it's very much worthy of our attention. But we'll start, as always, with Eagle Dynamics newsletter. So we've got some bits and bobs. One of them being, of course, that the summer sale is continuing. Don't miss out The mighty DCS F4E Phantom 2 is now available with a 25% discount, which is very exciting. And you're also getting 30% off the F14. I think if you don't have one of these heat blur modules, you really can't go wrong buying a heat blur module. They are super, super duper. So yeah, very much worth taking a look at that. And yeah, they go over all of the others. The previous newsletters have already told us what percentages of discount we're getting. So just keep in mind, these mega savings will end on the 13th of July. Wait. Do you think I can do it? Do you think I can do my BBC voice? Let's see if I can try it just for this bit. I don't know. Now the pressure's on. No, I don't know. Please note that these mega savings will end on the 13th of July at 1500 GMT on our eShop, and on the 10th of July 2025 at 1800 GMT on Steam.
This is the one thing we didn't want to happen.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, that was horrifying. But anyway,
Yeah.
so 13th of
It's
July. That's like in a week, basically.
Yeah. Where's it?
Yes. What would you recommend, John, if there's something that somebody has not purchased as yet?
Oh, crikey. I would say probably you can't go wrong with the Tomcat. I just don't think you can go wrong with it. And to be honest, the Phantom's pretty awesome. If you're playing it safe, Tomcat, I'd say if you want something that's going to hit tickle most fancies, Tomcat's just cool.
Yes, it
If
is.
not, I mean, I'm always going to be. I mean, the fact that it sound like the Apache's got 50% off. If you haven't flown a helicopter, and the Apache's 50% off, I would absolutely get the Apache.
And of course, my tutorial series is now available on that, so you can actually learn how to fly it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, those are probably the two I would say. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that's on the sales.
I think
Oh God,
Venom enjoyed my pronunciation of Steam.
yeah. If you're outside of the UK, it's going to be really confusing because you're going to wonder what this is all about. But to give some people some context, the BBC specifically has this really weird way of talking. There's like a diction that they use, and they kind of talk like this, and it's really odd. You mostly see it on the news. You see it a little bit elsewhere, but mostly on like the BBC News and stuff. And it's so much so it's been parodied by various sort of satires.
Chat was mentioning Brass Eye, which is a classic example of parodying the way the BBC does their news.
Exactly, the day-to-day Brass Eye, all that stuff. Anything Amano Iannucci, yeah, he definitely gets it. So
yes,
yeah. It's one of those things now that if there's people who catch bits of like BBC World or bits of it now, they're not going to be able to unhear it. It's definitely going to be a case you're going to go, oh my God, they do it. So yeah.
Yes, indeed. And the man himself, Matt Wagner, is here saying we're not going to comment on the A10C sales paragraph yet. Actually, I was going to get to that.
Yeah. He was going to milk it as much as he could. Trust me.
I wanted to pretend to be a BBC journalist first for a little bit.
Yeah,
but
he's just flicking his hair, going, "I'll get around to it."
Close air support aficionados shouldn't miss the A10C2 tank killer, featuring an advanced targeting pod, which I just talked about today, helmet-mounted display, a massive number of weapon options, its devastating 30mm cannon. It's also on sale with a huge 50% savings. For in-depth tutorials, please check out Deephack's A10C tutorials. And they provide a link to the playlist. Thank you. I don't know who was responsible for that at ED, and I didn't know anything about it beforehand, but whoever it was, thank you very, very much. If it was yourself, Mr. Wagner, thank you very, very much indeed. That's very kind. Yes, I was kind of skipping over a few of these different bits and bobs.
Do you want to? Shall I rumble deep a little bit here, chat? I basically saw it almost immediately, and I was like, "Have you seen the newsletter?" And Deep was like, "Yeah, I read it earlier." And I was like, "You sure you've seen it?" And I told him to look again, and I just got a DM going, "Holy shit!"
yes, that did happen. I sped read it, and I thought when you were saying, "Have you seen the newsletter?" I thought you were talking about the Sinai map expansion, which in itself is very exciting. And then you directed my attention to that particular
Yeah,
paragraph. Oh,
yeah.
fantastic. Oh dear, oh dear. Yes.
Yeah.
That's now the second time that my name has been mentioned in the DCS newsletter because previously there was they did like a kind of call out of the different YouTube channels. And my name appeared at the top. I think that's just because I was the last one to sign up, because they have this system on I think it's the Eagle Dynamics Discord. You can sign up and have your live streams kind of appear in a
Mm.
channel on that Discord. And I'm pretty sure I was the last person to sign up before that newsletter came out. But I was still very, very happy to appear at the top. Thank you very much, Matt. You're welcome. Well deserved.
Yeah.
Said, hello from hot and sunny Toronto. Had a dream the ED versus Raspam issue was resolved.
You
Oh,
need to be
dear.
dreaming about better stuff.
Yeah, I know, I know. This is not something that I lose any sleep over.
Yeah, yeah. But to be fair, it is a dream we can all
We can
agree
all
with. It
share
would
in.
be
Yes.
it would be pretty rad if it was sorted out, but it's not that simple, is it? We all know.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yes.
Actually, Fishy's Canal, bringing up something that I was going to mention a little bit later in the
Mm,
stream. Chuck, I think his name's Chucky Owl, actually, or something like that, or Chuck Owl.
mm,
He's finished his guide to the F4 Phantom. If you haven't looked at a Chuck's guide before, do
mm,
yourself a favor. Do yourself a solid and go and
mm,
read that for your airframe of choice. It's very, very good. And
mm.
again, I got a shout out in the Harrier version of the Chuck's guide. I'm in the back of the manual, so
Yeah.
that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
it's I tell you what, Chuck's guides are kind of I don't know if this is true, and I'm sure Matt Wagner will be like, that's definitely not true. But I mean this is actually more of a compliment to Chuck than it is a degradation to ED. But Chuck does such a good job with his manuals. It's almost like ED probably just go, is there much point? I was putting a roll on. This guy's just so good. So yeah, yeah. If I always say to anyone, it's usually I don't know if you're the same deep, but if anyone's getting into DCS and they're like, how do I learn this module or whatever, I always say I will say deep hack. That's one place I'll say. I'll say a bunch of other stuff. Obviously, got the official things, and then I'll nearly always say things like the tactical DCS Discord, which are great. They're really nice guys in there if you want to learn with people. And then the other thing is I always say Chuck's guides. They're the gold standard. They're so good.
mm,
Yeah.
yes, the Chuck's guides. The thing I like about them is they're so visual. So, like, I
Mm.
usually use the official manuals, the actual
Yeah.
like module manuals to reference a system. Like, if I need to go in
Mm.
deep and understand everything, but if I
Mm.
want to like do a refresher and kind of
Mm.
understand everything about the airframe, it's the Chuck's guide that I use for that
Yeah.
because it's so quick to get that information.
Mm. Yeah.
But
Okay,
that's
Matt's like,
nice.
no, no, that's not true at all. Stop, fake news. Stop it, John.
He's an aerospace engineer in Montreal and a smart
Oh
guy,
wow.
apparently. Well,
Yeah.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Mm,
Very, very nice. Anyway,
mm,
moving on, we have more in the
yeah.
newsletter. There was a DCS update. We had a hot fix
Oh.
just recently. So we've got core engine polish in the form of book SAMs now trigger the RWR warning correctly. AGM 45 seeker nuances for tracking frequencies on Chinese assets have been corrected. Uh, the AI F4U now uses the bat bomb, which is nice. Taxi logic has been tuned to keep mixed human AI groups following smoothly at, I'm not even going to try that, at an
Mm.
airfield in the Cola map. I've, I think I've murdered enough place names during the course of doing this stream. I'm not going to do any more damage.
Yeah.
Um, the
Yeah.
quick action generator now places units correctly inside of the Marianas World War II map, and anti-ship setups over Afghanistan are now being set up correctly. The MiG-29 export displays under Flaming Cliffs now obey brightness commands. I wonder why they're touching that.
Mm.
Viper pilots gain missing HOTAS commands for the harm page. The pause mode launch bug is closed, and a rare air-to-air crash when cycling from harm has been eliminated. Earlier data transfer cartridges load cleanly again, and new radar strings no longer corrupt existing CMDS tables. And then there was a bunch of updates to the campaigns. We can actually
Mm.
bring up the changelog. It was a smaller one,
Mm.
but very, very good to see. And actually, do they call this out later in the thing? Yes, they do. There's the Sinai development progress.
Yeah.
So that to me, that's the big thing that actually appeared here. We got a bunch of really nice stuff with regards to the Sinai map, and of course, if you're
Mm,
playing any of these single player campaigns, lots of nice fixes and tweaks to those.
mm,
Which is very, very nice to see. Also, really happy to see the ED are continuing to push out patches for the Yak 52, which actually, if you haven't flown that, not a combat aircraft, of course, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. The thing maneuvers just in an insane way. And if I remember correctly, it was their what would you call it exactly? It was kind of their proof of concept for like post stall maneuverability, I think.
mm,
And it's fantastic. It's absolutely
mm.
fantastic.
Was that the one that you had? You were saying that you had Frantic in with you, and you were just flying around and doing stuff, or was that the L-39? I can't remember.
That was
Which one
the
was it?
C101, in fact.
Oh, was it C-101? Yeah.
Yeah, I took him up with him in the student seat in the front and me in the instructor seat in the back.
Mm,
And we did takeoffs and landings. We flew
mm,
circuits. Like we basically did general aviation stuff. And it was so much
mm.
fun. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. Venom. Someone say MiG-29. I think
Mm,
we have his attention. Only
yeah.
Napalm, welcome to the stream. Stuart McLean, welcome as well. Good day, aviators. Yes, yes, yes. So yes, we had this patch which included a development progress update for the Sinai map. Henri Tech has pushed the Sinai map far beyond its original borders. The medium detail zone now stretches northeast to include all of Israel, southern Syria, including Damascus, and even a slice of western Libya. This opens the door to fully model several Arab-Israeli scenarios without workarounds or empty/low detail areas. Across the entire theatre, every mountain face, desert plateau, and coastal plain has received new colour-corrected albedo and normal maps. You're a graphics guy. Can you tell me if I said that right?
I think it's albedo, I think.
Albedo.
But then I was pronouncing livery and livery wrong, and yeah,
I'm
so
probably
don't
asking the
ask
wrong
me.
guy. I'm asking the wrong
Yeah.
guy. That's what you're telling me. Albedo.
Yeah, yeah,
Wasn't that in Smells Like Teen Spirit? Anyway.
yeah. Yeah,
Dawn over
yeah.
the Negev and Golan Heights at dusk never looked better. 5 key airfields anchor this update. Israel's northern Ramat David, that's also in the Syria map, actually. So we
Mm,
now have that same airfield in both maps. That's very cool.
mm,
Yes, so Ramat David, complete with bespoke shelters. Saudi Arabia's forward Tabuk airstrip. Lebanon's Rafik Hariri International Airport. I kind of feel like I'm getting these right. And
mm,
Syria's twin airfields of Damascus International and Meza. Each is ringed by newly created SAM fortifications and army bases. These locations are indicated as icons on the mission editor map. Further, dozens of bug fixes, terrain seams, and scene layer glitches have been resolved. You'll feel the difference when flying low and the details cranked up. We look forward to your feedback.
mm.
This is very exciting. And actually, I
Yeah.
now want to visit Ramat David on the Sinai map and compare it to the interpretation on the Syria map, because this is two
Mm,
different developers who
yeah.
are. This is the first time I think in DCS that we've had two different developers map the same places.
Mm. Yeah, 'cause I guess in this case, I mean, it's such a dense area, of things that are important in that area. You wouldn't wanna have a Sinai map without areas like, Ramat David and that, and then you also wouldn't wanna have a serial map without it. So, until there's down the line some crazy technology where things get mapped over, world maps or overlays or God forbid texture streaming or stuff like that. Um, basically, it makes sense that this is of any of the places in the world, this would have that kind of overlap. And like you said, it'd be really curious to see the differences between the two. The thing is, it wouldn't even necessarily be a representation of the quality of the developer, the quality of their
No,
work, because it
no.
really depends on the topography and data and mapping data that they've used for both of them. It's very possible that they're mapping 10 years apart, which can mean all the difference
That
for
was a
certain
point I was
areas.
going to make actually, because
Yeah.
it makes me wonder: are these maps representing the same era even? And
Mm,
I don't
yeah.
know if they are or not. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just interesting. It's just kind of
Yeah.
fun that we can do this. And, this is quite a big expansion. This map is now, as they say in the newsletter, going to be very, very useful for representing all kinds of scenarios. So,
Mm.
very, very exciting. I'm going to need to do some flying over this. We're a little
Yeah,
bit
it's
spoiled with maps right now.
we are. Yeah, yeah. To be fair, a lot of people were asking ED to deal with things like core and not just produce additional modules. And I can't, you can argue whether maps are core or not core, but I would say they're kind of part of
Pretty
that
core.
more than yeah, they're pretty cool. Compared to say a additional module or third party stuff. Because obviously you have to fly on them and all that kind of thing. I think also like you said, we're kind of spoilt with it. Both Sinai and Syria have some really interesting geography, and they have a wide range of sort of biomes almost within them. I mean, Syria pretty much has almost everything,
Yeah.
and it's got swampland, desert, plains, hills, coastal areas, everything. And the same for Sinai is not much different. And when I did fly on it, I was really really impressed by it. It was a great map. The detail, especially for the urban areas, was fantastic. And as I was flying around, at least where I was, I didn't see any. Occasionally you'll get those like just a random bit of map or just like poke up and poke down or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that,
You
and it'll
mean
be a
the
bit.
Microsoft Flight Simulator classic, where it's like
Yeah,
an
yeah.
enormous canyon or it's just like a vertical hill.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was when I was flying around it, and some of it was low level and kind of medium level. I wasn't see. I did at least I didn't see much of that at all. I mean, to be fair, I was flying around in total, not all that much, but yeah, I didn't see any at all. So yeah, everyone I've known who flies on it a lot has always before these updates has always been very kind of positive about it and kind of sung its praises. The tricky thing is again to get back to this age-old thing. It's that chicken and egg thing for the multiplayer servers. I think it's just about not many servers may run certain maps because they want players to play on it, and then many players don't play on a map because they're waiting for the servers. It's that weird thing.
Hmm.
And I think that's the only thing kind of affecting Sinai a little bit. That said, I remember popping on, and there was one period of time where there was a couple of servers that had loads of people on it. So yeah, it's a great map from my experiences on it. I'd have to jump back on there.
I,
And to be
I
honest,
I did a
is it
live
really?
stream on it when it first came out,
Hmm,
and
yeah.
I was flying over Cairo, and I was also going down the canal. What's the canal called
Hmm.
again? Oh
Um.
man,
Oh God.
doesn't
What
matter.
the? Oh.
Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just the most important canal in the world, but I've
Yeah.
forgotten what
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
called. Uh,
Suez.
the Suez. Thank you.
It's a canal. There you go.
So I was flying
Yeah.
up and down the Suez, and I was going over Cairo, and it was amazing. It was just
Hmm,
absolutely amazing. It really felt like I was there, and the performance
yeah.
was great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember when I flew on it, it was brilliant. To be fair, there's not really any. Wouldn't say there's any like bad maps, and the only two which are a little bit long in the tooth is probably Caucasus, which is free anyway,
Yeah.
and then maybe Nevada. But I mean, in one of the QAs, I don't know if Matt was around, is still around, but in one of the QAs, like he said, yeah, we'll get around to it. It's just a lot of work, it's a lot to be done. And even then, they don't look bad. It's just for the time, they look great. It's just that it's been what, 10, 15 years since those came out or whatever. So some of them. So it's,
Nevada still looks really good, although
yeah.
I would imagine it's on an older terrain engine version.
Mm. Yeah, it's not bad work. It's just older. It's
Yeah.
like we've said the same about like model mods like the Huey and the MI8 and stuff. It's not nothing bad with it. It's just it's almost shows how much things have improved rather than that they're not good. I think that's kind of where you have to
Yeah,
sort of frame it.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Cool. Tea Kettle Barbecue is telling us here albedo, the proportion of the instant light or radiation that is reflected by a surface, typically that of a planet or moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed it a couple times because I've done 3D modeling, and then sometimes you'll have like material maps and stuff. And they'll be like, you can set the albedo on like a slider. That's all I know. It turn up higher, more reflecty.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Venom
Yeah.
Cinematic is asking us if we want a pic of Beirut. That's a strange flex, but okay.
Yeah.
Just
Are you
sliding
there right
into our
now?
DMs and offering us pictures of different cities.
Hey man, you want a picture of Beirut?
I can swap you a picture of Cairo.
Yeah, I can send you a picture of Slough. Looks pretty much the same.
No, I don't think anyone wants the one of Slough. But
I got
anyway.
a picture of Swindon.
Oh
Yeah,
dear. Anyway,
amazing.
Pink Floyd mentioning that Edie and Ugra covered the same places when it comes to the channel maps. I guess that's a good point.
True.
I hadn't really considered
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Indie Navy, rumor has it Saudi Arabia and UAE is also coming to Sinai, which would be another overlap with PG.
Mm.
Is that the case? I didn't know that. That sounds amazing if it's true.
Yeah.
Yes, he says Indie Navy, new major update coming soon, expanded medium detail zones. Yeah, this is exactly what I just read out. Okay,
Yeah.
Wags is saying yes, NTTR would have to be redone from the ground up. So
Yeah.
I guess it is. It's on an older version of the tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it just now. But of course, as you say, it is
Mm.
older.
Yeah, it's just
Um,
older. That's all it is. It's just older.
and Pink Floyd already throwing his wallet at the monitor.
Yeah. Yeah. The the
And
the 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 f the fry from, what do you call it?
take my money from
Take my
Futurama.
money. Yeah. Yeah.
And it said I would pay for updated NTTR.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tog, that's what I needed, an image of someone opening a trench coat asking if I want an image of Beirut. Oh dear.
Oh
People do love
god.
desert maps. Wags is
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
They're just nice. They're just nice.
Yeah.
There's been a
Yeah.
few times when I've been actually Persian Gulf. I remember doing this where I was flying over just totally open, flat areas of desert, and
Mm.
you could see the sand dunes. And it's not that there were no details; there were details, but
Mm.
it's a very unremarkable piece of geometry. And then you come up on a town, and then everything just kind of pops up, and there's
Mm.
excitement.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about flying over these really not so densely populated parts of the earth.
Mm. They
It's
look
a lot of fun.
really good, on if you fly on any of these maps and you start getting the golden hour, they
Uh-huh.
look really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's being sarcastic.
I I was being truthful. I actually really like desert maps.
You're just being wholesome. That's all it
Yes.
is. Wags is just jaded by years of dealing with DCS forums and people like us saying the wrong thing constantly. And he's having to go, God damn it! I gotta correct him again.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We should start every episode with our corrections because there would be many.
Yeah. We just need that little like a what's it called? Like a what's the thing that runs across the bottom constantly,
Oh, like
which
a
is like
ticker.
a yeah, like a ticker. Anything we say is not it's not endorsed by ED. Yeah, it's probably a load of crap.
We're
Yeah.
expressing our own opinions only and not those of anyone else.
Yeah.
Um, Cool. Alrighty. Let's move on to the next thing. Grenelli Designs. They put
Yes.
out a video of what they were doing at FS Expo 2025, and it looked rather nice. I'm doing this without audio because I don't remember if there's copyright music or anything. You should
Mm,
definitely go and check out this video though. It's on the Grenelli Designs YouTube channel, and they had a very very nice booth at FS Expo 2025. They set it up to look kind of like I don't know, like a dugout in Vietnam or something like
mhm.
that. Lots of
Yeah.
camo netting and so on.
Yeah.
And people had the opportunity to fly the aircraft. And
Mm,
it looks quite complete. I'm guessing, well, if we look at their website, we'll know exactly what percentage there is still to do. But
mhm.
it was looking rather complete. I'm going to jump this past the setup of their booth because, as interesting as that is, it's way more interesting uh, seeing people actually fly the aircraft, which is kind of cool. But yeah, and also shout out to Verpal who provided the controllers, the hardware for the booth, which is nice.
Yeah. They did do what was I nerded out about. I don't know if Matt nerded out about it. They did do up a Ibanez with like Vietnam style South Asia kind of paint schemes and all that kind of stuff. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you're
Yeah.
both men of the guitar, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind
that's
of nerded
probably
out a
of
little bit of that
interest
now.
there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
I,
This
I
looks
I I
really good.
I believe it does look very, very good. I believe that John Bluer, one time you even asked Wags live on a stream about one of his guitars.
Something like that. I think I commented on something. He had a nice PRS. I was like, "That's a very nice PRS, Matt. What is it?" I think he's a McCartney 22 or something like that. If anyone, this is just sound like gobbledygook to people who don't play guitars. It's boring, but yeah, I always nerd out about bits like that.
Yes,
Yeah, this looks
I don't
great.
know any of the words you just said, but I'm sure it's very cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's about as nerdy as us talking about the flight models of 1960s ground attack aircraft and all that kind of stuff. So
Yes,
yeah.
I really like the RWR on this as well. It's like a very old school. It's not even like oh, you used to get plotters or kind of they were used for engineering purposes, displays that
Mm.
looked kind of like this.
Like
And I
oscilloscopes and stuff for like
yes,
yeah, you
exactly.
you test like electrical signals and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's really, really analog. I love it. It's really, really cool.
Yes, it's very, very nice. Wags here saying a DCS Balkans map would be fantastic. It would
Yeah,
be.
it would.
Would be very, very cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We got most of the aircraft for that as well. If you wanted to do like a Serbia, Bosnia kind of mid 90s situation, you've got quite a lot of the aircraft.
Hmm.
Especially now we're getting the early MiG-29 and whatever bits. Need a Nighthawk if we're gonna recreate that famous shoot down. But
Yes,
other than
indeed.
that, yeah.
Yes, indeed. Um, okay, what else? What else is chat saying here?
Mm.
Um, oh, actually, yeah, we should call out the gun cams here. They were saying that
Yeah.
basically everybody who flew the F-100, they got a recording of their gun cam to take home, which is very, very
Mm.
cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Stuart McLean saying Verpil rules. Wag
Yeah.
saying yes, a PRS.
Cool.
Um, Asaid wants Italy, a map for the MB339 and the G1. But yeah, when has there recently been a war in Italy? Apart from
Mm.
World War II, I guess.
Yeah, true.
Um,
I guess you could have, as part of the Balkans, you could have bits of Italy, couldn't you, as a staging area? It just depends on how far you want to go out, I
actually,
guess.
actually, that's a very, very good point because a
Mm.
number of, for the RAF at least, a number of their missions were launched from Italy. So, okay,
Yeah,
now you're making sense.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Mm. Yeah,
Uh,
Sentry aircraft are cool. Yeah, it'd be cool
mm,
to see the others. I'd love to see a Thunder Chief. Thunder Chief would be awesome. That also like, is it the Delta Dagger? That was a
yes.
cool jet as well. I think it was the one. Yeah, they were
Almost
cool.
anything can be an insult in Scotland, and
Yeah.
calling somebody a Thunder Chief absolutely sounds like something you'd get called in Scotland. What are you
Hey
talking
pal, you're
about, you
Thunder.
Thunder Chief? Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
that's amazing.
oh
That's so
dear.
funny.
Wags is saying Balkans would require Aviano.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yaha.
Mm.
So there you go. That's the devlog for the FS Expo 2025 from Grenelli Designs. Go check out their YouTube channel. It's got a lot of really, really nice content in there. Moving on. We couldn't help but notice in Eagle Dynamics' forums, we have this post in the DCS Roadmap unofficial, no discussion here
Mm.
channel. There was a bunch of stuff from Baltic Dragon, or reposted on behalf of Baltic Dragon, talking about basic training missions and working on the C-130. And it's supposedly the case. Here we go. We've got a message from Mongoose. Yes, by the end of 2025 is when they
Mm.
project to release the C-130, which is very exciting indeed.
Yeah. It's gonna be, I think you're gonna bring in some of the MSFS guys big time with this.
Mm, yeah.
Especially for if the I assume some of the logistics stuff with the Chinook has been built up to accommodate this aircraft as well. Even if not maybe at release, but eventually there'll be a lot of stuff to do with logistics. And I think that's really cool. It'd be interesting if you could potentially if you had a dynamic campaign
Uh-huh.
and you let the ground forces kind of do the fighting, you could basically be like just flying around materials and just reinforcing areas in the Hercules, and you could fight a war without even having to fire a missile yourself. That could be quite a cool challenge in a way to do that. So yeah, yeah, the C-130 is really cool, and it's very different from everything else. It's, I guess, weirdly its closest counterpart is the Chinook. Weirdly,
Yes.
as far as logistics go. But other than that, it's its own little thing. And
They're very much kind of complementary. Like, yeah, you would absolutely
mm,
use both of them for the same kind of
yeah.
things, but in different circumstances.
I'd like to know if they're gonna see if they can work with Polychop and you can stow up a couple Kiowas in the back of a C-130. That would be
Ha.
pretty cool. And they kind of box them up a bit, if that makes sense. And you drop them on the old what's it called, the rapid deployment gear and all that kind of stuff. That would be
Yes.
cool. There's pictures of
Yes.
them in like two. I think they fit two or three of them in a C-130.
You were talking about pulling people from Microsoft Flight Simulator. Like, there is
Mm,
a C-130 just now from Microsoft Flight Simulator
mm,
2024, which is in early access. I
yeah.
forget who makes it exactly, but I've been very, very tempted to get it. But
Mm,
always with military aircraft and Microsoft Flight Simulator, as beautifully modeled as they can be and as much fun as they can be to fly, it always kind of feels like a waste of time. It's like, well,
mm,
you're getting a military aircraft, and you know you're playing around with it in a simulator which cannot recreate military scenarios at all, really.
mm,
So it does feel like a bit of a waste of time. So I think I
yeah.
would hold off and get this one instead. It's
Mm.
going to be a lot more fun in DCS.
Yeah, look, it's horses for courses with these things, and I think MSFS is fantastic, and they do some really cool stuff. I'm sure in a positive way that even like someone like Matt can say they can DCS look at what MSFS do. It's a different scale, but they can be like, wow, that's really cool. You can appreciate it. Look at things and say that's really really cool for what it is.
Hmm.
But not, yeah, I'm the same as you. I can't. I just feel like I'm flying around aimlessly a little bit, and
Hmm.
it's very nice and it's very cool. But the one thing I think MSFS tried to address some of that stuff was with they had that like the not the campaign, what they call it, careers or something they called it, didn't they?
Yes,
And you
that's
can do
right. They
like
have the
careers
career
and stuff.
mode, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to address that, but yeah, DCS just has it down when it comes to this sort of stuff for the military side of things, and especially just such a wide range. You got helicopters and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like Matt, yeah, apples and oranges, exactly. And to be honest, what's cool is that I think I've always believed that as much competition, you don't want it to be cutthroat, but as much competition in any kind of environment is really, really good
Hmm.
because it's not just about driving other different companies and teams to try and beat each other, but you look at someone and go, oh, that's really cool. But what if we did this in our own way and we did this? And it kind of inspires things. And I remember, and this is an analogy, but I remember when I was at uni and I remember there was two courses I was on. And I remember the first course I was on, everyone was a bit cagey about showing their work and all that kind of stuff, and they were all kind of a bit, you're going to copy me, and so it's very competitive. It's really weird. It's odd when I come to think about it. But I remember that, and I remember it wasn't that great, and some of the work produced was cool. But then I remember the second course that I did, or modules, better way to put it. I remember doing that, and like everyone was like comparing work, and it was really cool because it is, if you call it competition, it's got a bit more friendly than that. But you were able to look at what other people were doing and go, that's really cool. I'm going to do that in my way, and
In
kind of
some
do a
ways,
spin
it's
on it.
almost more collaboration, or at the
Mm,
very least, you're kind of um, you're giving people ideas that they can then take and do their own
yeah.
thing with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like I said, the other stream as well. It's really cool seeing stuff like Gunner Heat PC, things like that. Was it Spearhead 2, which is I only realized recently was a sequel to like a game from like the 90s or late 90s. I'd love to see companies like Nova Logic come back and Jane's come back. That
Oh
would be really
my!
cool.
Oh,
That would be
yeah.
awesome.
You're
Yeah, just to
reciting
see
the
those
ancient
names again.
runes now, sir.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, I have no memory of this place. It's sort of bringing all this back. But no, I think it's all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, everyone kind of nails what they do. MSFS nails what they do, and some people love it. They're like, this is my jam, and they fly on it for
I've been
hours.
flying a lot of MSFS 2024 recently,
Mm,
and I'm very
yeah,
much enjoying it. I like the civilian stuff. Um,
yeah,
and a couple of things I'll say. A bunch of people in chat have called out the flight model. I have to
mm,
say, in every version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, the flight model has almost always been the weakest part of it.
mm,
It's always been sufficient. It's always been
mm.
competent, but it's never been anywhere near X-Plane for one thing. It's all and it's nowhere near DCS. DCS
No,
Well, of course, many of the flight models in DCS are completely external, but the flight models in DCS tend to be a far higher quality than what you get in Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Their bar is much higher,
Yeah.
and we've talked about this separately, but the only good to me, the only good helicopter flight model that even comes close to DCS is Nuclear Option. If anyone's played that,
Mm,
the helicopter flight model in that is so impressive. And and this is again a credit to DCS. I've not seen a single other helicopter in another game, at least recently, that's come close to the DCS kind of the feel of things. It's a bit all of the aircraft to a degree have this sense of feedback and you can kind of feel it out a little bit, at least for me. But yeah, that's the closest I've seen is Nuclear Option. I think
yeah.
that's it's
Actually,
helicopter stuff.
Indie Navy in chat, I would totally agree. Yeah,
Mm.
it goes
Yeah.
DCS, then X-Plane, then MSFS. But yeah, the thing I was going to add though is that MSFS, they're always doing clever stuff, and their
Mm.
systems simulation in most of the aircraft is brilliant. Is really really good. I
Yeah.
like it. But things like the walk around and like pulling
Yeah.
pins and stuff like that, that's just so good for immersion. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
they're doing some really really nice work. But
Mm.
exactly as Wag says, it's a whole other thing. You
Yeah.
can't
I
really
I'd
compare
I'd
them.
love to see that. I remember one thing, is it, VTOL VR?
Oh yeah,
There's
that's
one
that's
really
good
cool
fun.
thing. That's good fun. But one thing I really like, and it's funny because they're all these kind of cartoony characters, and you see people moving around weirdly, kind of a bit like stick figurey because it's VR,
Yeah.
and then these characters. But the one thing I really liked about that was there's like a briefing room where you can kind of all sit in this room and kind of chat to each other and like draw on a thing. And I was like, that obviously they've talked about adding a briefing room to DCS, but that's really cool. Like the idea that you can kind of sit down and plan, and
Oh
sounds
yeah.
silly, but just seeing someone moving around and their head moving around
Hmm.
sort of, as they chat, their head bobbing up and down, just even little things like that, just kind of,
Well,
for
actually,
me at least, kind of
I,
drag
I
me in.
I used to play. I haven't played it recently, but I used to play quite a
Yeah,
lot of Onward.
yeah,
And Onward has this where you're all before the mission begins. You and your squad are sitting in a tent together.
mm,
You have a whiteboard and with a
yeah,
map of the engagement area, and you can all draw on it. And you're all
mm,
gearing up at the same time, so you can see what weapons and equipment each person is picking up, and you can talk to each other, and you can scribble on the whiteboard and make your
yeah,
plan. So
yeah,
like the ability to do that in DCS would be amazing. I know that
yeah,
like from a technological point of view, it's pretty hard, but it's very
yeah,
very cool. The other one, of course, that I've always thought would be very very cool is hand signals,
mm,
because you're in VR. You may have finger tracking if you're using a glove, or you can have a degree of finger tracking with the hand controllers.
mm,
If you could be like waving at each other or like giving signals or thumbs up or whatever, do the salutes
yeah,
for real on
yeah.
the cat launch. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and then the other thing you could do is if people don't have hand tracking, you could have like an emote wheel or something
Just
like
like in
that where you
Squad,
could so you can do like whatever you want to do, like this sort of stuff, and it recognizes it.
do the
That would be
griddy.
really really cool. Yeah, yeah,
Wag saying BMS does a nice job with their flight model too.
yes.
I haven't actually played that recently, but the last time I did play it, yes, the flight model was amazing.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
yeah, they have done a very, very nice job with that.
That just got a big ol' update, that did. Their
It did.
terrain modeling got massively upgraded because that was the only thing I remember when you looked at their terrain. You could see I don't know how to explain it, but you could see the tiling.
Mm.
That's the only thing I could notice is this sort of tiling system that was obviously generating the maps. The other thing is they still haven't updated yet, which my eye spotted it and I couldn't unspot it, is the clouds they remind me of Doom sprites.
The
Do you know what I'm on
billboarding.
about? Yeah, the billboarding. Like, do you remember when you'd kill an imp in Doom and their feet would always face towards you? It's like that a little bit, yeah. So their clouds aren't quite there, but BMS has had a lot of jumps. So yeah,
Yeah,
no, BMS is cool.
very nice. Very nice. Okay, so this one you also brought to my attention, John, and it's the
Yeah,
MI28N/E for DCS World. This is a community mod.
yeah,
Currently, it makes use of the K50, the Black Shark 3 module.
mhm,
And what they're working on is it says work in progress, full 3D cockpit, an EFM, and an ASM to go with it. So
mm,
this looks very, very interesting indeed. You can download it now. This is actually publicly released, and the external model looks very nice indeed.
mm. Yeah, this is cool. I think with recent events, it's going to be almost impossible to see these as official modules. So for
Hmm.
for the fact that mod makers are able to go in and kind of use, for instance, like you said, the car 50 stuff, it's never going to be the same level as an actual full module, for obvious reasons, but it's just still cool to see this. It looks fantastic. I think it's just released literally within today, I think, on the mods and stuff. So
5 hours
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
There
but
you go.
it's this. Yeah.
Hot off the press, people.
Yeah, you can't say we're not on it. But yeah, no, this and is the Car 52 mod looks really cool as well. I'd love to see how that goes, because that actually could get a lot closer, because obviously this using a Car 50 uh, flight model, it's going to be a bit weird because it's not the same type of rotor system and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the Car 52 is not a gazillion miles away, and I don't know if some of you guys have seen some of the footage of that stuff, but it's really impressive for a mod. I'm like, how are they doing this magic without the SDK? This is wild.
Because it had the
Yeah,
terrain following radar, and it even looked like it was
yeah,
working, which is
it
pretty
looked like it was
wild.
working. Just crazy stuff. So, like, yeah, crazy talented people. I would always wonder if in the future there would be some sort of, like, not a full SDK, but like a reduced
Like a
SDK,
community
or like a mod.
SDK.
Yeah, like a mod kit or something would be kind of cool. Again,
Mm.
you don't want to you got to question it within the business sense to a degree. You don't want to necessarily have it where you have mods that are gonna take money out of actual full on modules. But
Oh,
especially, like,
yeah.
the only reason I would say a mod kit would be really cool, especially if it's built off jets, is, do you know how people keep saying, like, for instance, they want like an A model F-16, or even like a Block 30 or something like that for the F-16, and it's 95%, 90% the same. But then there's, like, little differences, like maybe it's got different IFF antennas or this or that, and it's
Or
not
look at
purely.
the recent community mod for the Belgian F-16. That was super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then what is it? The MiG-29, the Polish MiG-29. It's got the little, like, Garmin
Yes,
in it,
it's
whatever
got the
you
wee
want to call
Garmin.
it. Yeah, yeah, and I would say, like, stuff like that would be really cool. Throw into that a mod kit, a basic mod kit, so they can do some basic guided weapons, or even just plug into some stuff. The official modules a bit easier. Then throw in stuff like a mod manager, and you're going to see people playing around with these other aircraft and other systems and stuff a lot more. So I think the talent in the mod making. I always pop in that for. By the way, the forums can be a bit. Their forums, every forum's a bit weird. But if anyone does want to pop in, I would just keep popping into the mod for flyable, drivable, whatever section of the mod making stuff, because you see stuff being updated on there constantly, and it's the talent in these people who are doing stuff in their spare time as well is absolutely wild. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
community mods are great. I've done videos on the community mods in the past, and I need to get back to
mm,
doing some more of it because there's a
yeah,
lot to
yeah.
show off there. Indie Navy was asking questions about statics from the current Hill assets. When are they coming to
Mm.
DCS Core? And Wags was saying that they are coming. They need a lot of integration
Yeah.
work. I
Yeah.
can his pack is huge, so I can
Mm.
understand that it's going to take the ED peeps some time to work their way through all of that.
Yeah. Can I say, Matt, if you're around, I think that the fact that you guys are doing stuff with Masoon, and the fact that you're
Mm,
doing stuff with Current Hill,
yes,
it's such a good step in the right direction, and I think it's such a great reward. It acts both as an incentive for mod makers to do stuff,
yeah,
and also, when there's loads of people who do you know the meme, the Fallout meme of, like, everybody liked that when you get the karma thing, when you do
yes.
positive karma? It was like that. That's the way I see those decisions. So I think that's a really, really cool move, and especially when you have some people who, like Current Hill, the amount of assets that dude's created, it's unreal, like,
Yes.
absolutely unreal.
I
If we get a
particularly
quarter of
like
those.
particularly like his Volvo Technical. I think that's a very
Yeah.
nice unit to add to the game.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh dear. Indian Navy can't wait for CH, especially the Iris T, the
Mm.
Tu-95, and Iskander SRBM.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, cool
indeed.
stuff.
Do we know when the Pacific World War II assets will come to DCS?
Mm.
Um, this is becoming a Wags question and answer
Yeah,
session. I'm really
the
sorry,
nitty-gritty.
Wags. I'm sure you were just
Yeah.
wanting to chill out and watch a stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
T45, yeah, that's a great mod. Yeah,
that is a
yeah.
great mod. The thing is,
Mm,
I watched a video recently of like a kind of training session in that, showing how it works, and
mm,
I'm impressed with the avionics in it. They've
mm.
got a lot of the systems modeled, and it looks really really good.
Yeah, Indy
Um,
Navy uses that a lot on his server because they do a lot of they go full in. They do loads of training exercises and stuff, and they'll do things in the T45. And I've
mm,
watched some of his streams. It's a fantastic module or mod, sorry,
yes.
free mod. Really, really cool.
Would it have been Indie Navy that I was watching when I was watching tutorial videos for the T45? Does he have a channel?
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe it's your video I'm talking about. I don't even know. But
yeah.
yeah, Wag saying it's a win-win for all, and also saying P2 assets are to be determined. A
Mm,
huge amount of work between naval, air, and ground forces.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Stuart McLean, a win-win is always good. Well, yes, by definition.
Yeah. By definition, it's always good.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Enjoying all these little crowns with numbers. We were discussing that in the premiere.
Mm,
None of us are
mm,
really very clear on exactly what it means, but
yeah.
everybody wants to be number one.
Yeah, absolutely. It means we've got three kings bringing Frankenstein's golden gur.
Yes,
It's good.
Frankenstein, Gur, and Merv.
Was it golden gur? Wasn't it? Was it an aftershave? Wasn't it called gur?
Grr. Oh dear.
Yeah,
Cool.
good old bomb. Yeah.
Alrighty. I think that's everything that we have news-wise just now.
Hmm. Yeah.
While we have a little think, if we've missed anything, and chat, please let us know if we have missed anything. I will do my usual, and I will pimp the VAF. So let me do that quickly. John will disappear for a moment while I do so.
Ah.
He's still here, but he's not. Anyway, the VAF, or the Virtual Air Force, is a virtual online squadron originally started by myself and Dot Chuckles many, many moons ago. We fly on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays around about 8 p.m. UK time. We're based in EU's time zones, most of us. And currently we have squadrons for the Harrier, most importantly, the F-16, and the F-18. Everybody is welcome to join. Check the show notes below for a link to our Discord. And we're also always looking not just for pilots, but also for air traffic controllers, scripters, mission makers, livery makers, and even just people who want to hang out and chat with some cool people who are interested in aviation. We also have channels dedicated to other stuff as well, like jokes and recipes and all kinds of other mad stuff. So, anyway, that's the VAF, the Virtual Air Force. Come join us at the Discord link below. And I'll try and bring John back. There we go. John returns. Woo!
Hey.
And we got some love for the VAF there in chat. Tea
Mm.
Kettle Barbecue, join the VAF. It's great fun. DJ Meesters, VAF is awesome.
Mm.
Tog, I mean, they let me in. I don't even fly. Yes,
Yeah.
everybody's welcome. You've spent a little bit of time in the Harrier with us as well, John. It was a while
I
back, but I
I
remember.
really should. I really should fly with you guys more because it was fun. I also realized how much I didn't know.
Well,
I was like, I know the Harrier. Oh yeah, I did. I thought I did. Yeah.
yep.
But yeah.
Charts is about to pass me on flying hours, so I need to get back and do some more flying.
Mm,
I'm lagging. I'm lagging behind. Cool.
yeah.
But yeah, that's basically everything that we have for this week. John, you have a Twitch channel at twitch.tv/John Bloor.
Do
And
yes.
I wonder if you can tell us a little bit. Well, everybody, for one thing, support John and go to his channel and click the correct button on that website. And
Mm.
I wonder, John, if you can tell us about the kind of things that you do on your channel.
At the moment, not a lot. I've been very dormant. For me personally, it's do you know the whole when you get a girl and she breaks up with you and she's like, it's not you, it's me, and you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. But no, genuinely, with DCS, it's a me thing. I've had a lot on separately in my private life, nothing major, it's all fine, but I had a lot on, and so like DCS is kind of and streaming has taken a little bit of a backseat. Also, I think I'm at a stage where I'm just kind of waiting to see. I'm going to be waiting a while, but just to see if there's more updates to things like dynamic campaign and all that kind of stuff. It's less to do with the game. I think my problem is I've cold started the Apache too many times. I've just cold started it too many times. Eventually, it gets to the point where when it becomes muscle memory and you start dreaming in the flight page in your dreams, you need to start reassessing what you're doing in life.
There was a
But
period in time when I kind of had that with Tarkov, where I was actually having Tarkov dreams, and that's Tarkov in particular is a very bad video game to be dreaming about.
Yeah. When I start dreaming in the F10 map, there's a problem there.
Yes.
But yeah, so I've taken a bit of a break from it. But again, it's not a reflection on DCS. It's more of a reflection on me. That said, though, it's very frustrating because you're aware of the project that I'm working on, Deepak, but I can't talk about it right now, and it's a shame because I can't. Just for now, I can't talk about it. But I'm doing a really cool project.
He's working on a game.
Yeah. You need to like bleep it. So basically, I'm working on a game. It's not DCS. Obviously, it was really cool doing some work for Polychop guys and the Kiowa and all that kind of stuff, doing some of the art assets and things. It's down that route, and all I can say is it's not a million miles away from DCS. But it's really cool, and I'm doing some cool illustrative stuff again. So I'm not deliberately being mysterious. It's just that for the moment I can't do anything, but hopefully I can start streaming what I'm going to be doing very soon, and I think people are going to really like it. It's going to be kind of cool. So yeah, that's going to be my next thing. I want to get back into some stuff like that, and then I also want to I probably, if I do some streaming, just some other stuff. I keep wanting to do. I don't know about you, but Gunner Heat PC is really really cool. You play it for about an hour, and then you're like, and then you kind of get all you can out of it for the moment. It's very good, but it's kind of
they just added the Marder A1 Plus.
That's got that cool spot. Have you seen it? The disco,
yes.
It's like disco, like IR tracker.
The infrared. I think they call it like the infrared tracker or something like that. It has a funny name.
Yeah, it's really cool. If anyone wants to like geek out, go look it up, right? Because this is a fascinating like bit of kit. And they had to like properly deep dive, and they managed to find. Have you read about this? That they managed to find a bunch of like
I read the dev
for
blog all about it, where they basically had to like reverse engineer how this thing worked and looked. And it's very very cool because of course all of this kit has been stripped out of the current vehicles and upgraded.
Yeah, and it's this really cool kit where it overlays over the NVGs. And it kind of does this thing where what I think it is a matrix of LEDs, or whatever you want to call it.
It basically is. It's like a 60 by 80 display. It's like very, very low resolution. And it kind of shimmers if it finds heat sources. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's so weird. I love like weird Cold War tech when they were like trying to figure stuff out. Like it's really, really cool because it was that era where it was just like someone's dad and they've got a mustache and they're in a workshop and they're like, I don't know, try this. You know, they got a screwdriver and a soldering iron.
It's like the Leopard 1 rangefinder as well. It's like such a weird solution. Maybe it's just Germans who make weird stuff like this.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's really cool. So yeah, cool. It's very cool. We're just geeking out about like stuff like this, but
Gunner Heat PC is fun.
Yeah, but I for that example, like I cannot wait till that gets co-op. That with co-op would just be like, or multiplayer. The game is just different game at that point. It's a whole new world.
Yeah.
A new fantastic point of view, to quote Aladdin.
Yes.
But yeah, it's stuff like that. And I'm one of those people. I don't know if other people like this. Some people love competitive, like PvP. They love the idea of like Airquake and they will even say like, I love the idea that I beat someone else.
Yes.
Which is funny. I want to be top dog. For me, I love when you have a bunch of people working together and you achieve more than the sum of the parts. You know, it's like 2 + 2 = 5. I love that. I love that idea. So I get that at DCS sometimes as well. I love when you're like working together and someone's lasing a target and someone's rippling off hellfires and that. So it's the best. So yeah, anything like that is really, really cool. And yeah, I'd love to see more games like that. And I think it's also kind of cool. I mean, I what kind of surprised me was I remember playing on Gunner Heat PC, and that's all kind of folder gap area. And you see the kind of the way the terrain looks, you're like, it looks like Hobbiton. It looks like the Shire, but with like an Austrian twist. And then you go on Cold War Germany on DCS. And it's like, oh, it looks like a giant hobbit, like a hobbiton. Some of it. It really actually does look like that. But obviously big German towns and stuff. But it
Yes.
does look like that. So that was kind of what was kind of cool about it, is seeing those kind of correlations and stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's cool. And again, I don't know if you guys remember these games, but you had things like Armored Fist from Nova
Yes.
Logic and
Yes.
Steel Beasts and M1 Tank Platoon and M1 Tank Platoon 2, and they were just kind of cool and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but yeah, I can see some cool things going forward. And like there's other cool stuff like it's really buggy and it's a bit janky, but like Ground Branch is pretty cool.
Mhm.
That's kind of a cool little game. It's like Tarkov like in that it's very like hyper realistic and super hard, and you can get clapped really easily and stuff. So but yeah. Yeah, there's loads of cool stuff. So yeah, I made it a very long rant about what I was doing on Twitch or not doing on Twitch.
So go
But
go to
yeah.
go to twitch.tv/John Bloor to see none of that.
None of that. All of these things we're talking about, you won't see any of it. Just so you know, you won't see any of it. But
This is what's going on in his head. This is not what's actually in the stream yet.
you can imagine, just imagine that this is what we're doing.
Deary me.
Yeah, one day we will. We should.
Yes.
We haven't done enough stuff together. We need to do some cool stuff.
I'm
I think
definitely
you
open
feel
for that,
once.
and Venom was in fact asking us when we want to fly again. So
Yeah,
we should
yeah,
definitely do
yeah.
some more flying with him. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Venom, you ruined me, mate, because I flew some missions with you, and I literally was like, I was like, this is so much fun. I wish this was fun all the time.
Yeah, I
So
never want to fly
blame
again
Venom.
without Venom.
Yeah, basically. uh,
Branislav, congratulations on the newsletter. Thank you very much.
yeah.
I'll take this opportunity to remind everybody to subscribe, like, and comment. I almost couldn't say it. It's a really big help to me and to the channel. And if you want to further support the channel, you have the option of joining Deephack's ground crew by clicking the join button below. It's a small monthly fee, about the cost of a cup of coffee per month, and it's a big help. Really helps me making this content. If you like seeing tutorials like the ones I'm currently doing on the A10, then
Mm.
please help support the channel.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to take this opportunity to give Deephack's ground crew a big shout out. Thank you, all of you who are already supporting me. Thank you very, very much. Channel Right, JR Walker, Mr. Yeti, Sean I Am 81, John Bloor, Tea Kettle Barbecue, Whiskey Dale, Stuart McLean, Mangash, Willow Wilson, Byron Farrow, Osprey, Snooblarin, Laskin75, Interesting Story, Frantic Stone, Pink Floyd, Samantha, and Alice. Thank you all very, very much for your support. And yeah, that really just leaves for me to say I've been Deephack. I release a new tutorial video every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. UK time. I'm currently doing a series all about the A10C2 tank killer. And thank you very, very much, Wags, for signal boosting that I was doing that. And that's always followed by the DCS news, which just happens to be this thing, what you're watching right now. Tea Kettle Barbecue just gave away 10 gifted memberships to Deephack's ground crew just as I'm doing my outro. Thank you
Amazing.
very, very much.
Legend.
Wow. That is very, very nice. Thank you so much. So I have a bunch of new names to read out. I'll do that quickly. We've got Tarka Chops, we've got Paul Dillon, we've got Sledge Caller, we've got Frederick Laystrom, we've got JP Gibbons, we've got Kevy Kev TPA, we've got Slade Slayer 09, we've got Tim Wasco, we've got Attack Debris, we've got Oz Dead Meat. Thank you all very, very much. That was amazing timing. Thank you so much there. So yeah, that really just leaves me to say thank you all very much for watching. Fly safe, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta.